U.S. weapons manufacturer Lockheed Martin is reportedly pitching new jobs for Canada. But
the United States has cautioned Canada against backing out of its purchase of American-made F-35 fighter jets, warning it of potential fallout if the deal is scrapped.
Canada's masterstroke. Rolls-Royce's new secret engine for Gripen. The end of America's F-35 dominance. Engine technology. That's the masterstroke. That's what Pentagon couldn't counter. That's what made everything else possible. Rolls-Royce isn't just building engines in Montreal. They're transferring complete engine production technology to Canada. Design modifications, manufacturing processes, quality control systems, testing protocols, supply chain management. Everything needed to produce the EJ230 engine independently, not under license subject to British veto. Independent Canadian capability that persists, even if Rolls-Royce relationship changes. And that independence is what breaks Pentagon's 70-year stranglehold on NATO fighter procurement. Because historically, even when countries bought European fighters, no American engines gave Washington veto power. Sweden could design Gripen, but GE engines meant every sale required US approval. Rolls-Royce moving production technology to Montreal eliminates that veto completely. Canada produces engines. 7 countries ordered jets with those engines. Pentagon has zero leverage, zero control, zero ability to block. That's the masterstroke. That's what transformed theoretical sovereignty into operational reality. And Pentagon's watching British company transfer technology to Canadian facility that makes American approval irrelevant forever. Let me walk you through why engine technology transfer is strategic breakthrough that changed everything and why Pentagon's powerless to prevent it. Start with historical context. For 70 years, engines were America's ultimate control mechanism. Even when allies designed their own fighters, they needed engines. And engines meant American engines. General Electric, Pratt, and Whitney. No European alternatives existed at necessary performance levels. Russia had engines, but NATO countries weren't buying Russian. China developed engines, but nobody trusted Chinese quality or supply chain stability. American engine monopoly was even more complete than airframe monopoly. Allies could design fighters. They couldn't build competitive engines. That monopoly gave Pentagon structural leverage. When Sweden designed Gripen C&D, they used Volvo RM12 engine, but RM12 is licensed from GE's F404. Every Gripen sale required US export approval because engines were American technology. Sweden negotiated contracts. Washington approved or denied based on American political priorities. Brazil approved. Pakistan denied. The decisions were American even though fighter was Swedish. Engine dependency meant American veto regardless of whose name was on the airframe. Pentagon assumed that leverage was permanent, assumed European companies couldn't develop competitive fighter engines independently, assumed allies would accept American veto as price of capability. They were catastrophically wrong on every assumption. Eurojet Consortium, including Rolls-Royce, developed the EJ200 for Typhoon, 4 million flight hours, proven reliability, combat-tested performance, European engine matching, or exceeding American alternatives. Pentagon's monopoly was already broken technically, just needed someone to exploit it strategically. Saab did. When designing Gripen E, they engineered airframe to accept either GEF 414 or derivatives of the EJ200. That flexibility meant Gripen E could operate with American engines where politically necessary, or European engines where sovereignty mattered. The platform didn't lock customers into American supply chain. It offered choice. And once choice existed, customers chose sovereignty. Rolls-Royce developed the EJ230 specifically for Gripen E and F. Higher thrust than F414, better fuel efficiency, easier maintenance, and critically, zero American components. Completely British design, built in Britain or licensed to partners. No ITAR restrictions. No State Department approval required. No Pentagon clearance needed. Sweden negotiates with customer. Rolls-Royce supplies engine. Aircraft gets delivered. Washington's opinion is irrelevant, but here's where Canadian masterstroke elevates everything. Rolls-Royce isn't just supplying engines to Canada. They're transferring production technology, building manufacturing facility in Montreal that can produce EJ230 engines independently, training Canadian workers, establishing Canadian supply chains, creating sovereign capability that doesn't require British permission after technology transfer completes. That's unprecedented. That's European company enabling Canadian independence that simultaneously breaks American monopoly. The technology transfer is comprehensive. Montreal facility will manufacture complete engines, not assemble British-made parts. Manufacture. That means Canadian workers build turbine blades, combustion chambers, compressor stages, control systems, everything. The metallurgy expertise, the precision machining, the quality control testing, all of it stays in Canada, becomes Canadian intellectual property, enables future modifications without requiring British approval. That's genuine technology transfer, creating sovereign industrial capability. And the scale is substantial. Montreal producing engines for Canadian Gripens, Ukrainian Gripens, Portuguese Gripens, Peruvian Gripens, Philippine Gripen, Polish Gripens, Thai Gripens, Colombian Gripen. 7+ countries means 400 to 500 fighters, means 800 to 1,000 engines, over 15. That's sustained production at scale that justifies billions in Montreal facility investment. That's permanent aerospace capability that persists beyond any single program. The jobs numbers are significant. 3,000 to 5,000 direct positions manufacturing engines. Another 6,000 to 9,000 supporting jobs across supply chains. Total employment impact of 9,000 to 14,000 jobs. That's economic transformation for Quebec. That's tax revenue funding infrastructure. That's family supported for generations. And critically, those workers gain expertise that makes Canadian aerospace industry globally competitive in engine technology, not just airframe assembly. Pentagon's response to Rolls-Royce Montreal facility reveals their impotence. They can't block British technology transfer to Canada. They can't sanction Rolls-Royce without devastating British-American defense cooperation on other programs. They can't pressure Canada through trade threats without destroying North American economic integration. Every tool that gave Washington leverage over Swedish Gripen sales with American engines is useless when engines are British designed and Canadian built. The veto is gone. The leverage is dead. The monopoly is finished. And here's the strategic irony. Pentagon created the conditions that made engine technology transfer attractive to Rolls-Royce. Trump's threats pushed Canada to seek sovereignty. Canadian sovereignty created market for non-American engines. That market made Montreal facility profitable for Rolls-Royce. Pentagon's coercion directly caused British company to transfer technology that breaks American monopoly. It's textbook blowback, where the threat creates response that defeats the threat's purpose. The historical parallel to Avro Aero is impossible to ignore. 1950s, Canada developed world's most advanced interceptor. American pressure contributed to program cancellation. Canadian aerospace expertise scattered. Workers went to NASA. Industry took decades recovering. The lesson was clear. Don't challenge American aerospace dominance. 67 years later, Rolls-Royce transferring engine technology to Montreal reverses that lesson. Canada isn't challenging American dominance. Canada's replacing it, with British partnership enabling independence that American coercion tried to prevent. And the technology sophistication matters. Fighter engines are among most complex machines humans build. Turbine blades operating at temperatures exceeding melting point of materials they're made from. Compressor stages delivering pressure ratios enabling supersonic flight. Control systems managing thousands of parameters in milliseconds. Manufacturing requires precision measuring micrometers. Quality control demands testing at extreme conditions. Getting any of it wrong means catastrophic failure. Rolls-Royce transferring that technology to Canada demonstrates confidence in Canadian aerospace excellence. The supply chain development is equally sophisticated. Turbine blades require specialized alloys. Combustion chambers need exotic materials. Control systems demand precision electronics. Every component has suppliers. Every supplier needs quality certification. Montreal engine facility creates demand that strengthens entire Canadian aerospace supply chain. Companies investing in capability to serve engine production become qualified for other aerospace programs. The expertise compounds and multiplies, and the independence extends to modifications. Once Montreal facility is operational and technology transfer is complete, Canada can modify engines, develop variants for specific missions, optimize for Arctic operations, enhance for maritime environments, test upgrades without requiring British approval. That sovereign modification capability is what makes technology transfer genuine. It's not licensed production subject to foreign veto. It's independent capability that Canada controls completely. The NATO-wide implications are transformative. Multiple countries operating Gripen with Canadian-built Rolls-Royce engines create alternative supply chain to American engine monopoly. If GE or Pratt & Whitney face production problem, NATO has Montreal alternative. If American politics make exports uncertain, NATO has Canadian option. If Washington weaponizes engine supply for political leverage, NATO countries have independent source. That redundancy strengthens alliance by eliminating single points of failure. Ukraine benefits specifically from engine sovereignty. Their 150 Gripens will use engines manufactured in Montreal or Derby without any American approval. If Trump cuts Ukraine aid, if Congress blocks support, if Washington conditions assistance on political concessions, Ukraine won't make. Engine supply continues uninterrupted. Canada and Britain support Ukraine directly. American political volatility is irrelevant to supply chain. That independence is worth billions when survival depends on equipment that won't be withheld. And combat validation strengthens Montreal facility's global credibility. Ukrainian Gripens with Rolls-Royce engines proving themselves against Russian Air Force demonstrates capability under harshest conditions. Every successful intercept validates engine reliability. Every mission completion confirms maintenance is manageable. Every month of sustained operations proves supply chain works. Combat is ultimate proof that Montreal engines perform when everything depends on performance. The competitive pressure on American engine manufacturers is existential. For 70 years, they've operated without meaningful competition in NATO markets. Countries buying fighters meant buying American engines. Montreal facility breaks that monopoly. Now countries evaluate engines separately, compare lifecycle costs, calculate sovereignty value, factor political risk. When European engines from Canadian production offer comparable performance at lower cost with complete independence, American engines lose on value proposition that transcends technical specifications. The precedent extends beyond fighters. If Rolls-Royce can transfer engine technology to Canada for fighters, why not for other platforms? Maritime patrol aircraft, helicopters, trainers, business jets requiring military variants. Every aerospace application needing engines becomes potential market for Montreal facility. The technology transfer creates capability that serves multiple programs over decades. That's industrial policy success beyond any single contract. And the workers training in engine production gain expertise that's globally unique. Canada has aerospace capability in airframes, avionics, integration, now adding engines. Yeah, that complete package makes Canadian aerospace industry one of few globally that can design, build, and support complete aircraft systems independently. Workers with that expertise command premium wages, create companies, drive innovation. The human capital development is what sustains prosperity beyond current programs. Pentagon's strategic calculations are demolished. They assumed engine monopoly was unbreakable. Wrong. They assumed European alternatives didn't exist. Wrong. They assumed allies would accept American veto rather than pursue independence. Wrong. They assumed threats and coercion would enforce compliance. Catastrophically wrong. Every assumption that underlay 70 years of monopoly is proven false by British company transferring technology to Canadian facility that serves 7 countries operating fighters without American approval, and the irreversibility is total. Technology transferred can't be untransferred. Workers trained can't be untrained. Facilities built can't be unbuilt. Supply chains established can't be unestablished. Montreal engine capability exists, persists, operates, produces, serves customers globally. Future American administrations can't reverse it. Future diplomatic pressures can't eliminate it. The sovereignty is operational and permanent. The masterstroke is what makes everything else work. They assumed European companies wouldn't challenge American dominance. Instead, Rolls-Royce transferred technology that breaks monopoly completely. They assumed Canada would remain dependent customer. Instead, Canada became competing supplier. Every calculation was wrong. Every prediction failed. Every assumption proved false. And the future implications terrify Pentagon planners. If Montreal succeeds with fighter engines, what prevents Canada from developing engines for other applications? Workers gaining expertise that drives prosperity for generations. And it's all possible because Rolls-Royce made strategic decision that Pentagon couldn't block, wouldn't have approved if they could, and can't reverse now that it's operational. Engine technology in Montreal. That's the masterstroke. That's what defied Pentagon. That's what transformed Canadian sovereignty from aspiration to reality, one turbine blade at a time, until American monopoly is memory and Canadian independence is proven fact.